we're asked to find the product of these matrices, and we want to do this by hand, not using the matrix feature on the calculator. This one we were forced to do it by hand regardless of whether we could use a calculator or not, because I don't have number entries, I have some variables. So there's intermix of numbers and some A's and B's in these, so I'm going to need to do this by hand. If we think about the dimensions that we have for these matrices, this first one has 3 rows and 3 columns. So this first one is a 3 by 3. The second one, so here's the matrix right here, it has 3 rows and only 1 column. So this one is a 3 by 1. Whenever you're doing matrix multiplication, you must have these middle dimensions match. So the columns on your first one must equal the number of rows on your second matrix, otherwise the multiplication is undefined. And then I know the dimensions that I'm going to end up with at the end. It's these outer dimensions, 3 by 1. Okay, so now to do the multiplication, as we move across a row on the first matrix, we're going to multiply by the respective entries in the column of the second matrix, and we're going to add those together. Okay, so with this first one, going to have algebraic expressions because we don't know what A and B are. We get A times B, so that's just AB. B times 2 would be plus 2B. And then negative B times A is negative AB. Right, so that was the first row times the first column. Now we move on to the second row of that first matrix, again times this first column, because that's all we have. 3 times B is 3B. A times 2 is 2A, so we'll add 2A. And negative 4 times A will be a subtraction of 4A. And now finally, our third row of that first matrix times this column. Negative 5 times B is negative 5B. B times 2 will be adding 2B. And negative A times A will be subtracting A squared. I'm still going to be left with A's and B's in some of my entries, but we should simplify if we can. So I notice in this first one, AB minus AB, that cancels out, and I'm left with 2B. 2A minus 4A simplifies to give me a minus 2A, so that whole entry will be 3B minus 2A. And then the last entry, I've got a negative 5B plus a 2B, so that's negative 3B, still minus an A squared. And that's the best that we can do when we don't know the values of A and B. That's as simplified as we can get that product.